The following is a national address on a referendum to ascertain Bahamian support for the regulation and taxation of web shop gaming and the establishment of a national lottery by Dr. the Honorable Bernard J. Nottage, Minister of National Security.
My fellow Bahamians, good evening. In its Charter for Governance, the Progressive Liberal Party committed that within its first 100 days in government, it would provide details for a referendum on a national lottery and gambling in the Bahamas. In keeping with that commitment, the Prime Minister in a communication to Parliament on the 8th of August confirmed the intention of the government to proceed with a referendum on the issue of a national lottery and/or web cafes as soon as practicable following the North Abaco by-election. He indicated then that the referendum would seek to ascertain the will of the Bahamian electorate as to whether a national lottery should be instituted and whether web shops should be regulated, licensed, and taxed. In a further communication to Parliament on November 1st, the Prime Minister announced that a referendum would be held on 3rd December 2012. At that time, he noted that it would deal only with web shop gaming. This was based on advice from the government's consultants that a national lottery was not considered to be commercially viable at this time. On November 14th, the Prime Minister indicated to Parliament that as a result of evolving public discourse, it became clear that more time was needed before the Bahamian people should be called upon to vote, and that the government had decided to bring the question of a national lottery within the scope of the referendum. He indicated that the proposed new date for the referendum would be the 28th of January 2013. Subsequently, the Constitutional Referendum Amendment Act 2012 was passed by Parliament on the 7th of December, and the Referendum Regulations 2012 were gazetted on the last day of the last year, 31st December 2012, setting out the general parameters for the conduct of a referendum. These pieces of legislation are to ensure that referenda in the Bahamas are conducted based on tried and true electoral processes. The government is committed to fairness and transparency and propriety in the conduct of referenda, and we are satisfied that the requisite legislative regime is now in place. Section 32 of the referendum regulations requires that the Governor-General shall, on the advice of the Minister by order, appoint the day on which the referendum shall be held, and there shall be not less than 21 nor more than 26 days between the publication of the order and the return of the results. In accordance with this, His Excellency the Governor-General has today, Wednesday 2nd of January 2013, issued an order for a referendum to be held on Monday 28th January 2013. As stipulated by that order, Bahamians will be presented with two questions. The first reads as follows: do you support the regulation and taxation of web shop gaming? The second question reads: do you support the establishment of a national lottery? Pursuant to Section 59 of the Referendum Regulations, the voter is instructed to place one cross only in the space opposite the word yes if he supports the question, or in the space opposite the word no if he does not support the question. Fellow Bahamians, the procedure to be followed in the conduct of this national referendum, for the most part, mirror those that are followed in voting at general elections for the members of the House of Assembly. However, in the case of a referendum, there are no political candidates. Instead, as indicated, there are questions to which the voter is to answer either yes or no. A yes vote means you support the question, and a no vote means you do not. The result of the poll will be determined by a simple majority of the number of yes votes versus the number of no votes. There will be no election agents in this referendum. The regulations, however, do empower the minister to appoint a maximum of 3 local observers per polling station, with a view to ensuring the fairness of the process, including at least two persons representing the views of those members of the public interested in the yes and the no vote. The appointment of the local observers shall be made in writing and signed by the minister. The parliamentary commissioner will hold a briefing session with local observers to advise them of their role in the referendum prior to the advanced poll. Now, I wish to draw to the public's attention that Bahamians who were eligible to vote in the May 7, 2012 general election can vote in the referendum. Persons who reach the age of 18 after May 7th this year, and all other eligible Bahamians who have not yet registered may still do so. However, you must note that the voters register will close on the 10th of January. Anyone not registered by then will not be eligible to vote. Section 80 of the referendum regulations provides for all election disputes to be heard by a referendum tribunal, chaired by the Chief Justice and a Justice of the Supreme Court named by the Chief Justice. These then are some of the salient regulations governing the upcoming referendum. The Parliamentary Commissioner will engage in a process of public education surrounding the regulations governing this referendum in order to ensure that the general public is fully informed. In summary, I wish to draw to the public's attention the following dates as they relate to activities pertaining to the referendum. The order of the referendum was signed by the Governor General today, 2nd January 2013. The Parliamentary Commissioner will publish notification of the referendum on Friday, the 4th of January 2013. On Thursday, the 10th of January, the voter register will close. On Saturday, the 19th of January, the voter register will be certified by the Parliamentary Commissioner. On Monday, the 21st of January 2013, an advanced poll, inclusive of overseas voting, will take place. Qualified persons who are desirous of voting in either the advanced poll or as an overseas voter or as a special voter have until Thursday, the 10th of January to submit the relevant completed application form to the Parliamentary Commissioner. For those persons who reside overseas, a completed Form J must be submitted. Special voters, namely election officials, those who on referendum day are likely to be hospitalized or undergoing medical attention or out of the country, must complete a Form K. Both forms are available from the Parliamentary Commissioner's office. Finally, the 28th of January 2013 is the date of the referendum vote. My fellow Bahamians, this referendum is an opportunity for you to be heard on the issue of whether you support the regulation and taxation of web shop gaming and whether you support the establishment of a national lottery. Let me remind you that while for the purposes of the efficient management of the referendum, you will be voting within your constituency, the results of the referendum will be determined by a simple majority of the total number of votes cast nationally for each question. The government is committed to participatory democracy and believes in the timeless tenet that public policy should consistently reflect the collective will, desires, aspirations, and sensibilities of you, the Bahamian people. We pledge to be guided by this fundamental ethical and democratic principle through all of our deliberations on your behalf. The government encourages all Bahamians to exercise their right to express their views freely, to conduct themselves peacefully, and to be tolerant of the views of others. And I take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you a safe and prosperous New Year, and may Almighty God continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
The proceeding was a national address on a referendum to ascertain Bahamian support for the regulation and taxation of web shop gaming and the establishment of a national lottery by Dr. the Honorable Bernard J. Nottage, Minister of National Security. The